The next theme is Troost dividing line, and we've got a couple of questions on that. We'll start with you on this one. Many consider Troost a dividing line between the haves and the have-nots in Kansas City. Name one actionable step you will take in your first year in office to help revive the East Side.
My whole career has been bridging the Troost divide because I grew up east of Troost. I cross it almost every day. But I guess one actionable step out of many will be investing in and stabilizing quality, affordable housing east of Troost. I think one of our biggest issues is that too often in Kansas City, we demolish things. We demolish neighborhoods, right? And then we say, wow, what happened to everybody who was living there? And when we demolish, what do we get? We get vacant lots and weeds and illegal dumping and so many other problems. My number one priority is making sure that not only are we funding rehab and repair, so more people have the chance to age in place east of Troost, I also want to make sure we're expanding access to capital. For those of you who don't live east of Troost, it's kind of hard to get loans over there, right? You don't actually have institutions that are helping you out a lot. Banks aren't looking to lend in those areas. I want to make sure that the city, through a housing trust fund, is actually helping people who want to move there, who want to build, and who want to establish communities be a key part of it. But I think housing is going to be key and core to everything. Core to our schools, core to public safety long term. And it's something the city has needed to do for years. One of my greatest accomplishments and something I'm proud of are transformative housing policy goals and efforts that we're working on right now at City Council. So hopefully when we start with a new term, we're saying we're continuing on those efforts to make sure people can age in place, make sure we can keep families on the east side, and make sure, frankly, that we're building wealth in communities that have had too much underinvestment for decades.
So I'm going to take a very focused approach, and it's going to be neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I was in the state Senate, where I served for 8 years as a state senator, I was able to pass an Abandoned Housing Act. And since that time, I have been working with our delegation down in Jefferson City, our legislators, to continue that work, helping get nuisance laws passed, helping make sure that we're taking care of vacant and abandoned property laws so that we have the tools we need locally to really make a difference. And so here's what we're doing right now. Through public-private partnerships, we are actually going through and taking our vacant and abandoned properties. We are suing to get them back on the tax rolls, and then we are rehabbing those properties to get people back in. And we're doing that with consultation of neighborhood leaders. Well, why is that important? Because we can't just assume that we can go in and just plop down a bunch of houses and everything's going to be okay. Instead, we have to make sure we're doing things that the neighborhood wants and needs. And so that means also focusing on transportation. It means focusing on small businesses, making sure that we have incubators, making sure that we have loan funds, making sure that we have all the things for small businesses to survive and to thrive. And so one of the things that I will do immediately, actionable within the first year, is making sure that we're taking our Adopt a Neighborhood program, taking our programs that are taking vacant and abandoned properties and getting people moving back in, and make sure that we move that across the entire east side of Kansas City. That means not just the 3rd district, but also the northeast part of Kansas City, the southeast part of Kansas City, and then frankly, we need to be focusing as well on those neighborhoods that are just north of the river as well, because they're on the brink of very soon becoming just like our neighborhoods on the east side.